Now, Dave Zirin, it's my understanding that tickets to LIV Golf Bedminster could be bought on the secondary market for $1 plus a $5.50 processing fee on StubHub. Is there any truth to the rumor that you dug around the seats in your couch and found $6.50 to get into LIV Golf Bedminster and become the loudest, rowdiest member of Phil Mickelson's gallery?
No truth to that rumor because I have a thing about supporting authoritarians who take part in bloodthirsty efforts to try to sell us sports as a cover for their nefarious doings. Of course, I'm talking about Donald Trump as much as I'm talking about Saudi Arabia.
I was going to ask you, which head of state or former head of state were you referring to? But let's start with Mickelson, because apparently, and correct me if I'm wrong on this figure, but LIV Golf guaranteed him, what, $138 million to join this tour? Are you correct? Is that correct?
That is correct. I know it's nine figures, the low nine figures, as opposed to Tiger Woods, who rejected high nine figures to be part of this tour. So I'm hoping that Phil Mickelson's endless ego took a little ping, knowing that Tiger Woods was offered almost 9 times as much as he was. Okay. But nevertheless, Phil Mickelson just got paid. So the people who are really happy about this are the people to whom Phil Mickelson owes gambling debts. They're the real winners.
Okay. And the thing is, we've seen like renegade sports leagues before. Like there was the one in Mexico that was raiding all the Negro League and Major League rosters for about 6 months until, they had to stop. What makes him, like, why did the LIV Golf people target him as a way to, like, establish what is supposed to be a rival to the mainstream golf tour?
Well, because as much as I mock Phil Mickelson, and I do feel he's eminently mockable, he's also the second biggest name in golf, in my opinion, in terms of the casual fan. There are much better golfers than Phil Mickelson. There are players who the true golf fan pays much closer attention to on a tournament-by-tournament basis. But then again, you could say the same thing about Tiger Woods, obviously the golfer who has the most Q value, if you will, or clout among the casual golf fan or even the non-golf fan. I mean, once you go after Tiger Woods, it's lefty. It's Phil Mickelson. And so what Phil Mickelson gives you is immediate credibility that this is a legit golf tour, that this is a legit competition to the PGA, and it allows an almost magnet effect for others to leave the PGA. And make no mistake, people have beefs with the PGA. And so for some people, it's about attacking the PGA. Certainly that's what Mickelson says, as if, he's somehow doing this for some social justice cause. But it's really because we're talking about Saudi Arabia's pockets, which are kind of like Garfield's bottomless pan of lasagna. It's just money that does not end. And when you factor in the obsession that the Saudi ruling family has with the sport of golf and the benefits of sports washing, I mean, for them, this probably seemed like a no-brainer.
Right, because when you look at the numbers, they don't add up in terms of the way we in North America expect player salaries, the cost of doing business to line up with audience size. The statistics I can see, maybe 100,000 people watched Bedminster. And this was the one that was supposed to get extra viewers because it was at Trump's golf course, and Trump allegedly has this giant latent fan base everywhere in the United States. And we're still talking about a peak of 111,000 viewers. So why does this, and how does this even make financial sense for the people funding LIV Golf to throw around 9-figure guarantees and get a 6-figure audience size?
Oh, it makes no financial sense whatsoever for the simple reason that it has a dual purpose. And that dual purpose is projecting Saudi Arabia as part of an axis of nations that's developing throughout the world. And that's the foreign policy part of this we have to understand. It's not like there's a global community that Saudi Arabia wants to be a part of. There is an axis of authoritarianism that includes Russia, it includes China, and it includes the aspirations of a Donald Trump and what he wants for the United States. And this is about Saudi Arabia saying we are in on that. We don't just want in on that. We're a central cog to that. And so when you have, that's no coincidence that this tour is going to be at Bedminster. There's no coincidence coincidence that Donald Trump and who's ever backing Trump, Steve Bannon, what have you, see this as a great connection to make, even though, of course, it raises immediately the name of Jamal Khashoggi, the U.S. resident and Washington Post reporter who was killed and dismembered by the Saudi Arabian state. And Donald Trump and his people basically just smiled and whistled after that took place.
Dave, how close are we to the Saudis or the Russians, like at a state level, making big inroads, not just into the Olympics or to pro boxing or to golf, but to like a major mainstream North American sport, Major League Baseball, NFL, NHL? How close are we to that happening?
Honestly, I think we're a bit of a distance away from that because Russia's already been doing that for years with women's basketball, which is held in very high esteem. And following the arrest of Brittany Griner, you've already heard numerous WNBA players say there's no way we're going to Russia. Also, the same reason why Tiger Woods, to his credit, rejected the LIV Tour is going to be on the minds of players in those team sports. Because there's the question of legitimacy and legacy, which is also a financial question, of course. I mean, if Tiger Woods had gone on the LIV Tour, it would have besmirched everything he had done up to that point and everything he would do in the future. And for him, that price is personal, that price is moral, but it's also financial.
Right, and also Tiger Woods already sits atop a massive pile of money, so he can also afford to tell people to get lost.
But even for the billionaire athlete, $900 million is nothing to sneer at. So credit where it's due for turning the other way.
Perfect. Dave, thanks again, as always, for taking the time to be with us. From Washington, D.C., that's the sports editor of the Nation, Dave Zirin.
Thank you so much.